So it's Ben Davies who wins the lag and gets frame number 1 underway. And he's dry, so it's Jordan Church who comes to the table. Jordan, who we've just heard on commentary. Quick update on the other scores. I can tell you that it was 4-4 against Mick Hill and Jamie Murray, but Mick Hill's just strode out to a lead now. He's 7-5 up. Ben Rowland 6-all against Zach Cooper. Phil Harris and Scott Gillespie now 5 frames each. Scott Gillespie was 4-1 ahead. Gareth Hibbert 4-2 up against Lee Clough. And this is the last session, session 4, before we go into the winner's side round 2 game. And round 2 will be the last round that the winners play until 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. That'll be losers section all the way through tomorrow until 4 o'clock. So at the table, the unmistakable Ben Davies. His nickname is Ding. He's 32 years old. He uses a Jason Owen cue with a 8.25mm blue diamond tip. He is the current world champion. He's won over 50 tournaments from a youth level right through until now. European titles, home nations. He's the current IPA British professional champion. And he's ranked number 2 in the IPA rankings. And he's hoping that that list just continues to go on and on. Incredible talent. He started playing pretty much when he could walk. When he started walking, he won his first tournament age 7. And he started playing because his dad used to play. He was an international for Wales. And his dad has been his greatest inspiration. He supported him in everything that he's done. And Ben puts all of his success down to his father. He says he doesn't really have a favourite cue sport player, but he enjoys watching flamboyant players. There's a fairly flamboyant player at the table right now in Jordan Church. It's not started well for him. He's gone in off. And Jordan will be sat there where you can see that kind of look on his face. It's almost like almost an early resignation to say. You heard him on commentary say that he's played on this table twice and he just hasn't settled and hasn't played anything like what he's able to. And it's almost he's sat there thinking to himself, is it going to be more of the same? But he just needs to put all those negative thoughts out of his mind. He is a top player and more than capable of winning this game, more than capable of winning the tournament. So carrying on with Ben, he said in his list of achievements. He would like to reach the #1 spot in any competition or series or tour that he plays on. And he said that when he finally finds that it's time to retire, he wants to be known as one of the greats of the game. And well, at just 32 years of age, he has all the ability to become absolutely one of the best. We asked him about a funny story about himself, and he was saying when he was younger, he won the under-21 championships, the world championships, and he forgot to take the trophy back to the event. So that just meant that he had to win it again, and he won it again, and the trophy stayed at his house. Toughest opponent he's ever played against would be Gareth Potts. And when asked if he has any other talents, he said not particularly, but he does enjoy playing golf in his spare time. Probably plays with Craig Marsh. I know Craig likes a bit of golf as well. I know they're certainly practice partners on the pool table. Bit of a error there from Ben. But, he's left this long black thinner than he wanted it. But yeah, well, I was going to say, you fancied him to get that one. Did not expect him to miss that. So Jordan, this will give him a huge amount of confidence if he can clear this table. He's not got an easy opener, so he's going to have to lay a snooker. But the only problem with laying this snooker is that black is over the pocket, and Ben just needs to find a way through to it. If he can find a way, you fancy he's got a great chance of potting it. That is a good snooker. So he's taken away the side rail. I think he's taken away the top rail. He can go off the top rail, but he's going to have to. He hasn't got the angle to go straight at it, so he's going to have to. As you can see him queuing up. The reds are in the way of the natural angle, the natural path. So he's not looking at just hitting it. He's looking at where he has to hit on that side rail, so he can clip the black in. Still looking to pot this. Just needs to be careful at the time. Just be mindful he's on a 45-second clock. No, he's just misjudged that. Misjudged it by a fair margin. And I think that we will probably see Jordan play the white from where it is. There's no benefit in picking it up and resetting behind the line. He's got a nice angle to play this to top corner, and he can use it as his free shot. In fact, he didn't even try to attack. It was all about making sure he got position on the next red and promoting his other tricky ball. And now this is plain sailing. That was a clever use of the free shot from Jordan. He's got the straight one to bottom corner. This is what Jordan needed, just a nice simple finish. And I talked about his flamboyancy. He's really quick around the table. Doesn't take any time thinking about the shots. He's such a natural. Really like to see him do well on the stream game. As I say, he's not really accounted himself particularly well in the first couple of events when he's been on this mainstream. He's had really tough opponents, to be fair. One was when he's played 3 times on here now. The first time was Craig Marsh, the second time was Mick Hill, and this is the 3rd time. And he's playing the current world champion, so his name, Jordan Church is 30 years old. He uses a Burroughs and Watts cue. In fact, he did use a Burroughs and Watts cue, and he's now got a new cue. That one that you see in front of you, I believe, is one made by David Bowen. Pretty sure he's been using that one for a few months now. And he's got an 8mm ADR 147 tip. He was the junior world champion, twice World Masters runner-up in the IPA, tour runner-up, England international at every level. Started playing pool when he was 9 years old because his parents had a pub, and Carl Morris came along to do an exhibition. And Jordan's dad was the county manager. Jordan's dad, Les Church. I know that Jordan's dad heavily involved in the game. I don't think he was saying that Carl Morris's dad came along to the exhibition. He was county manager, and they asked him to do some to trial for the under-18s to get some experience. And he somehow got into the team and never stopped playing since. He grew up watching all the best: Potts, Appleton, Hill, Melling, Morris, Twist, Harrison and Kendall. And he looked up to all of those guys, but he was helped and coached most by Carl Morrison, Ian Kettle and Ian Hubbard. Toughest opponent he's ever played between Potts, Appleton and Hill. But, he said that when he lost to Mick Hill in the final of the Masters, it was the only time he'd ever come off a table and feel that he'd been completely outclassed. And that, I gotta say, was some break. I was reading from his profile as he broke off, but you could hear he timed it well, but he's lost the white. So handed the table over to Jordan. Jordan just taking a few seconds to work out what he wants to do here. I think he's going to go red, so he's going to play this red off of the yellow. And it's going to open up the table. He can now drop this to middle. Take the top right corner. And I think both of these reds to the left-hand side of the black go in their own right to the bottom right corner. So just a wry smile on his face. I think he's just overhit that a fraction. But as I say, he's got a plan B. And again, just a little shake of his head, like a quizzical look. A lot of people have mentioned how reactive this cloth is, and I don't think he could believe how much that cue ball gripped. This looks okay. A few inches short of perfect, but is absolutely fine. There's a nice clearance, and you see a much more confident, relaxed Jordan Church in this match. It just took him a couple of frames. So it's Jordan Church who's going to break frame number 4. while we were off commentary during the last game, he did say that he doesn't really have a break at the moment because it was breaking head on, it wasn't really working, so he tried the cut break. So he's not really sure what to do, but he found that this table breaks a little bit better if you take a little bit off. So he's probably going to break it about 80. Well, just took a touch off, not a lot. That wasn't quite full power, believe it or not. He's got a bit more in the tank, but controlled the white beautifully well. Not the greatest of splits, but it's not all bad either. You can get through to this one over the middle. Yeah, and I was going to say, if you can just nudge that yellow aside, this really is a super chance. He's left himself on this red to middle, and this is a very gettable chance now. You just see the fluidity of his game, the way he plays. And now he really has got the pace of this table. He's a lovely player to watch when he's in full flow, as are both of these players. So a quick look around the room. Ben Rowland is 7-all against Zach Cooper. Adam Marlowe 9-5 up against Ross Smith. Josh Kane 8-2 against Dylan Leary. Sanjay Patel 8-5 against Jay Dewar. Martin McIntosh 9-2 against Jeff Middleton. I did say that Mick Hill wouldn't have it all his own way against Jamie Murray. And Mick Hill has only just got his nose ahead. It's 8 frames to 7. And Jamie Murray giving him a real fight, as I guess he would. Sam Bircher 7-5 up against Phil Malam. Callum Singleton 8-4 against Lee Washbrook. John McAllister 5-3 against Aaron Davis. Matt Lawrenson 8-5 against Declan Brennan. Phil Naylor 3-2 against Michael Smout. Scott Gillespie now 7-5 up against Phil Harrison. And Gareth Hibbert, who is across on table 3, another streamed game. He's 5-4 up against Lee Clough. I'm sure those players would have come across each other many, many times across the years. I think they're both from fairly similar areas. I think Lee comes from Blackpool. I know Gareth is in and around that kind of area. So this time Ben does nail one. Again, they've just gone a little bit awkward. Got to go yellows, but there's the yellow on the side rail, and then the other one just adjacent to the left middle bag. So, not absolutely straightforward. Sean Chipperfield's through against Gareth Higgins, 11 frames to 6. Just having a quick look across at winners round 1, just to see what kind of matchups that's thrown up. Jake Newlove is going to be playing an informed Jamie Graham. Oh wow, that is most certainly not a ball I expected him to miss. And I can kind of understand why he's gone reds there. The 2 on the bottom rail, you've got the one just adjacent to the right corner pocket, which he could have developed those. So still an open table. And that was exactly the shot I just mentioned that Jordan's just played. And he would have been okay, but he had so much side on that ball. When it hit the side rail, it's just pinged up. Now, does this red go in the middle bag off the one above it? I think he may be able to squeeze it in. Yeah, look at that angle. It's a perfect angle. Definitely goes. Where's that red going? Doesn't want it to get tied up. I think it's okay. So now this is a great chance. Also in that winner's side is going to be Arthur Dad against Carl Morris. Joe Prince against Shane Thompson. Ben 40, the young lad, will be playing Mark Farnsworth, the older experience. Craig Brown, Ben Lewis. Mike King is going to be playing Seb Webb. That's a good game. Ronan McCarthy, of course, against Ben Flack. Carl O'Donoghue against Craig Lakin. Should be another cracker. Tom Cousins, Craig Waddingham. In fact, I can tell you that that's the next game on the main arena. So that's the next game we're going to be covering here. What a game that is. Craig Waddingham, Tom Cousins. They will be very familiar with each other. Old adversaries from UK Tour. A couple of grinders there. Adam Davies and Clint Jansen. Should be another great game. Jez Graham, Mark Boyle. Dan Davey, Rob Chilton. Craig Marsh, Carl Sutton. Oh dear. Jordan Shepherd's got Neil Raybone. Wow. There's some great games being thrown out there. In the meantime, another nice clearance from Jordan Church. 4 frames to 1. Jordan to break frame number 6, and you just feel that all the momentum is with him at the moment. Can't take his eye off the ball though against a player of Ben Davis's quality. And look at this for another break. Almost a tiny bit unfortunate there with the little kiss that pushed the white back onto the top rail, but he's got this red to middle. Quite rightly, just asking the ref. He is on the clock, 45-second clock, so asking the ref to remove the rack. Just buying himself the extra few seconds to work out his pattern. Reds look pretty good here. There's only one red on the side rail, but he's not only got balls to move it, he's got balls to drop on it, whichever he prefers. Given the position, you know, that kind of 4 or 5 inches below the bulk line, it's not a gimme up the rail, so he will probably, well, there I am rattling on about reds and he's taking yellows. He's played me for a sucker there. Would have said for the world he was going to take reds, but didn't realise he could get through to that long yellow. You know, it's a similar kind of genre. I can understand why he went yellows. Be able to see that one because having the 2 on the rail adjacent to each other, he can obviously use one to get on the other. I don't think the outside one passes, so he has to take the inside one first, and he's going to go up for that now, and he's left it perfect. Delightful little angle. Just needs to cue this well. Don't decelerate. Screw back 6 inches. Cue ball just rattles, and again, left it perfect. He can play this with stun, right hand side, send the white ball at a right angle. He's looking, his target is the red. So ideally he would have just gone across and probably rested on that red. Not a bad thing that he didn't, because he's not hampered queuing now. And he can drop this yellow to middle bag, run the white down into this bottom right quadrant for the black in the middle. Goes inside the red and just overhit that slightly. But black is still onto middle. And I have to say, this is pretty much a masterclass being put on here from Jordan Shepherd. And it's nice to see him playing with the kind of ability and freedom that we all know that he's got. Super clearance. Les tuning in, watching his boy play. And you can't read him, can you? He's just sat in the corner, cue over his shoulder. I mean, he could be 6-1 behind here. You just can't read anything from his body language. Super break. Wow. Cue ball you just saw run down towards the shark rack and just divert slightly to the left. Doesn't change anything. And the referee immediately moves it from the table. Yellows just looks superb. Just a very, very natural path from one to the next. I'm sure equally did I say I see the chat box mention did I say Jordan Shepherd? My apologies. He's my roommate tonight, so I was thinking about him a second ago, thinking he's probably gone back to the room and tucked up for an hour. Sorry, there's too many Jordans around. So I was about to say that I would imagine that Ben Davies' dad is also watching on, a very proud father, supports his boy. Often is going around watching him. Ben Davies showing everything about his character. He's behind, but doesn't faze him in the slightest. Just comes out, does what he's got to do. Wins the frame. Nothing Jordan can do about that. It's a break dish. boys have travelled down from Scotland. There's a few of them you see standing in the background. The guy facing you with the glasses is Stephen Yule. You've probably seen him prowling around on Facebook. And he's the Frankie Boyle lookalike that they often mention. You see him at a lot of the money matches, especially when Mark Boyle's playing. He certainly travelled down to the Tom Cousins game, and he took a lot of grief in that game, and he plays it so well. He's a real character. He's right in everybody's face. He's absolutely the centre of attention in a money match, but from a crowd perspective, and I think everyone in the room was singing songs about him and so on, so forth, but he takes it so well. So a dry one from Jordan Church. And funny how the momentum swings. So few mistakes from either player so far. McHill is on the hill versus Jamie Murray. He's 10 frames to 8. Sanjay Patel is through 11-5 against Jay Dewar. Adam Marlowe is through 11-5 against Ross Smith. James Humphrey-Jenks now trails Michael Still 6 frames to 5. Josh Kane 9-3 up against Dylan Leary. Callum Singleton 9-5 up against Lee Washbrook. John McAllister 6-4 against Aaron Davis. How's that game not made it onto the stream? The problem is there's so many great games. Matt Lawrenson is still just ahead of Declan Brennan, but Declan still on his heels. And there's another unforced one from Ben. Scott Gillespie now 8-5 versus Phil Harrison. Is Phil going to have to do it all over again from the losers section from round 1? Gareth Hibbett still just edging Lee Clough 6 frames to 5. And these yellows are as good as done, aren't they? The only one that may cause any bother is the yellow just above the 2 reds, which could be tricky. It's going to be about the angle that he leaves here now. I think he's got a lovely angle just to run up into the red. In fact, he went through, and I think he would have probably been better off if he could have just contacted the red, because he'd have left the yellow into the top right corner. Now he's got a nasty thin little cut, and not just that, it's hamper queuing, so he may look to take the long one to bottom corner. Not sure what he's looking at here. I think he's almost forced just because of the queuing. The queuing just makes that an almost impossible shot, so he's going to have to take this long ball to bottom right. No. knuckle. He's annoyed about that. Really annoyed. You can see from the expression on his face. That was a great opportunity just to drive the nail in a bit further. When you're ahead of Ben Davies, you just got to keep your foot on his neck. He's too good. You just can't give him the chances. Another miss. You're not going to see this very often, folks. Ben Davies, one of the best players at the top of the game. He so rarely misses balls in open play. What's he left for Jordan? He's left this yellow, but is there any way for him to get on that? The yellow to the left of it. Oh, what a shot this is. Wow. Superb. Fizz the ball around off of 3 cushions. I mean, it's not perfect, but he's left himself with a shot. He's got a thin little cut and not much to do with the cue ball. He can just run the cue ball off top cushion over the side. Just needs to focus on the pot, which he does. And that's a great shot. And now he'll just be screwing back out to mid-table. That's perfect. Look at this. Super great cue ball control. Jordan Church is looking decidedly a different character than we've seen on this arena table previously. So a big break coming up for Ben. And when I say a big break, I mean that in more ways than one. Just nailed it. Look at these reds. He has an absolute dot-to-dot finish. One, even if you can call it a slightly tricky ball, is the red in the middle of those 3 up the right-hand side of the table. He just has to play them in the right order. I don't think the one just above this red passes into top corner, so maybe. Again, that's just careless. That really is. This is not what you expect from Ben Davies, and he's just struggling a bit. That's a good shot. He knew he was playing it as a two-way shot. He was either going to make the plant and have a good chance at the dish, or he was going to cover the bag. Now, fairly sure we're just going to see Jordan lay a snooker. Yeah, just taking a second to come around and take a look at this. Just needs to avoid the double kiss. Just thin this yellow and bring it out into open play. Just go down and rest on top of the other yellow. Yeah, just like so. So just trying to promote that. Well, both of them really. But the primary goal was to make sure he ducked for cover. Fairly simple. One cushion escape. Probably going to see him duck for cover again. I think he'll be playing this yellow and just screwing up behind the other two. Wants to get nice and close in behind them. Would have ideally just another couple of inches of pace. If he could have nestled between the two of them, it would have made this a really tough escape. As it is, fairly simple. Now I wonder if Jordan, a very naturally aggressive attacking player, I wonder if he can manufacture something here. He's running out of safety options somewhat, so maybe forced to try and do something. I think he's going to pop this and try and break open. Okay. Again, he's going to be playing this yellow off the side rail, just standing up behind those two. Just depended how that came out as to whether he could just still try and attack from there. I don't think he's pushed that into a plant. I think it's set for the bottom lip. Well, from that angle, looks like maybe it is a plant. And if that is dead set to middle, well, it doesn't matter now, does it? Because Ben's just taken that plant, bottom of the table, and I think he can get through to go. That's it. Yeah, Kush first. Well, now what's happening here? There's a little bit of follow me, the yellow following the white down. It looked just for one split second that he might snooker himself. Still not a gimme, is it? He's got this thin clip, and he's going to have a long black. Well, he's not come far enough. I was going to say he'll have a long black up the rail. I thought he was going to come down somewhere right about the middle bag. But all he's done now is left himself a double. Doubled a corner. He's not made it. Played a clever shot though. He's made sure he played it at a pace where he'd cover the bag. And he hasn't really left anything, so he's banking on that not being a plan. I mean, it looks for the world from that angle that it's set to the bottom lip. So he's going to go for this double to open proceedings. Great opener. Now it's all about this plan. If it goes, he's got the frame at his mercy. It must go. does indeed. And this is going to be another frame to Jordan Church. Great stuff from him. And just a couple too many mistakes from Ben at the moment. And I have to say, I don't lean on either side of these players. I'm very much on the fence. I love watching both of them play. Ben Davies certainly one of my favourites, but it really is nice to see Jordan Church prove what he's capable of on this main arena table. He's had some great results throughout this series without really ever proving himself on this main arena table. And we heard him mention that beforehand, that he's never really been able to settle on here. So, good stuff. And really unusual, unforced errors from Ben Davies that we just don't expect from him. He's normally just a perfectionist. 7 frames to 2. This is a big lead. Is there any way back? Well, you know there is. You don't become a world champion without facing adversity and getting over it. Gareth Hibbert still just got his nose in front of Lee Clough. He's 7-6 up, but Lee Clough, he's on a black and he's potted it, and now that's 7 frames each. Nothing between those two. Scott Gillespie 1 frame closer. He's now 9 frames to 6 over Phil Harrison. And I just make mention again of the 2 matches that are coming up in the 8 o'clock session. I mean, there is some incredible games. Craig Waddingham, who is, you know, top 3 player on the EPA tour, playing Tom Cousins. That's an incredible game. But over on table 11, Carl Donahue versus Craig Lakin is going to be a fantastic match. And Rob Chilton playing Dan Davey. There really are some great matches. Clint Hansen versus Adam Davis. But also over on table 3, what a matchup this is. This is a game that, I mean, you'll just never see it, will you? You won't ever see it, because one is staunch IPA and one is staunch EPA. Ronan McCarthy versus Ben Flack. When are you ever going to see that game? This is Ben Flack's debut in this event. He's taken the place of Yannick Beaufils. And one player from either rule set, England International, takes on, well, one of the most consistent players in this series so far in Ronan McCarthy. Brilliant game that's proven to be. I wouldn't know. I think I'd have to get the laptop, the phone. Oh, what a shot that is from Jordan Church. I think I'd have the laptop, the iPad, the phone, and the Kindle. Have all 4 of them around me and just watch all 4 of those matches, because I can't pick between them. Brilliant. Eight frames to 2 in favour of Jordan Church against the current world champion, Ben Davies. And I think Ben Davies, he took an absolute hammering recently, didn't he, in the Murphy's English Open? I think Scott Gillespie, I think I'm right in thinking Scott Gillespie beat him 11-0. Quite deep in the tournament as well. Some quarterfinals maybe. And Ben said there was nothing he could do. Absolutely nothing he could do. Scott Gillespie was on fire. And I don't think he really felt he did much wrong, but he got beaten 11-0. There's me going on about I don't have any particular favourites in this, and I just remembered I got Ben Davies in the grabber group. What am I talking about? Come on, Ben. Big comeback, please. Jordan looking impeccable at the moment. So I've been trying to keep a little note of each of the frames, and I started at 3-1. 3-1 was a break dish for Jordan. And then it went 4-1, where Ben missed a red in the middle, which you really didn't expect him to, and Jordan dished them. And then it went 5-1 with a break dish from Jordan. Then it went 5-2 with a break dish from Ben. And then Ben made a mistake in the next frame. Again, an error you wouldn't expect him to make. Missed a ball to go 6-2. And then Ben ran out of position in the next frame to go 7-2. And then a break dish from Jordan to go 8-2. So, and finally, Ben draws a mistake from Jordan. And I must admit, I fancied him for a reverse dish in this one as well, but now then, Ben has to just take every opportunity he gets now. Left a perfect angle to stun across the side rail to take this yellow. He's going to be bouncing off the top rail. Touch right hand side, comes out perfectly. What about that for cue ball control? I think he's just got a lovely angle to drop in behind this yellow. Oh no. He's just put his hand to his head and he's just shaking his head. He can't believe what he's done there. So many unforced errors. Just don't expect this. And wow. Don't know what to say really. Mistakes from both players in this frame. And thank you very much for your kind words, Kevin Stewart. Really hope you're enjoying things. It sounds like you are. Promises to be a awesome weekend of pool. Baz 1506 has asked a couple of times now how Lee Boggy has got on. I did answer you earlier, Baz, as well, that he lost his first round game. But if you want to look at any of the scores, it's qscore.com. Go to the live tab. He played Jamie Graham in his first round. He lost 11-4. You can watch all of the live scores as they happen on qscore.com. As I say, go to the live tab at the top and you will see a link there for the Supreme Pool Series and the K8.com Classic, and the whole draw is laid out before you. All of the live scores, all kept up to date via, each table has its own device which is linked directly to QScore. It seemed as if Jordan tried to get closer to this red for a good reason. Yeah, just deciding not to attack from here. And I think the very reason for that is the fact that the black doesn't pass that yellow to go down the rail. So he's just covered that bag, just trying to buy himself a little bit of extra time. Ben with no such thoughts, he's going the aggressive route. So Jordan just showing that he's got a B game. He's not just all out aggression. Wow, I think this is a bit of a chance here from Ben. The ball that he's closest to, it looks like he's right on top of. There is a gap, just enough gap between them, where I think he can pot it off of the yellow into the middle, and he can screw back into these. Well, obviously felt he couldn't screw back into these two. Thought he could just dig into it and screw back into the two yellows to break them up. So this half a chance. You can see how aggressive Ben is, knowing that all the reds are in the open. He's no fears whatsoever of just knocking that black out into play to make the back end of this break easier. And to do that when you've still got two yellows tied up on the side rail just shows something else. Not sure what his plan is here for this. I wonder, actually, has he seen it? Are they dead set to go in off that red? I think they are. I think he spotted this early doors. Oh, he did indeed. I was just sat here thinking to myself, what's his plan for this? And I suddenly saw it. Dead set in off the red. What class? 9 frames to 2. Littered with mistakes, but what a super clearance. Gareth Hibbert still just got his nose in front. But that one is on serve. He's 8-7 ahead with Lee Clough's break. Somebody asking where Appleton, Shaw and Melling are. Well, I can tell you that they are all in China. There's an event going on in China, and Darren Appleton got a late wild card entry into it. And he's gone across, he's flown across. I know Chris Melling and Jason Shaw both went across last week. They had some PR commitments, and then they were all going on to the same event. I think it's in, I want to say Yushan, but I could be making that up. Because I don't know the first thing about Chinese geography. So yeah, they're all three of them are over in China, and they're probably enjoying a couple of beers at the bar as we speak. Because I think, aren't they about 7 hours ahead? Oh no, they'll be professional. They'll be tucked up in bed now. Or are they 7 hours behind? I never remember. Either way, it's not drink o'clock or beer o'clock. But yeah, all over in China. Which is a great shame. Real shame for the event. I think Jason Shaw missed the last one as well, which means that he won't be able to qualify for the grand final, which is a big shame. But I'm pretty sure that he's going to be nailed on for the Mosconi Cup, which would have meant that he couldn't have made it anyway. I'm almost certain that he's gonna get. I mean, how can you leave him out? Has to be a wild card. Has to be a captain's pick for the Mosconi. And I am aware. I mean, the Mosconi Cup starts on Tuesday, and the players have to convene as a team in London. I think either on the Saturday or the Sunday. I think probably Sunday, but either way, he wouldn't have been able to make the grand final. I think we always kind of knew that in the back of our heads. And who's to say that Chris Manning doesn't deserve a place in that Mosconi as well? I don't think there'll be room for him. I really don't, but he's played out of his skin this season. Yeah, the zombies at my pizza saying it's 2:30 in the morning, so obviously, yeah, 7 hours ahead. They're probably. Oh no! You can see the disappointment, even at, with this lead that he's got. 9 frames to 3 up. He just can't. He knows he can't take anything for granted. He knows he has to take every frame. And Ben is going to screw back into this yellow and red. He may well. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think he'll play the skill shot. I think he'll just try and batter the yellow out, which he does. Left himself a little bit awkward now. He's got shots to either corner. I would suggest he'll probably take the one to the far right of the table. But that's a real test of the cue action. Maybe he can get through. I think, yeah, it was that one. I was just wondering if he could get through to the one just to the left of that, but no need. So, a couple of the yellows into the middle. Run through for the yellow down the rail. Nothing to do with the white ball, just naturally on and off the side rail. And he'll want to finish just below it. Oh no, that's another one he's missed. And I think Jordan will be skill shotting this one. It's perfect for a skill shot. You'll see him play bottom of the white just to help it. No. That was very makeable. Very makeable. just hit it just to the side. If he'd hit it dead on, choosing to pick up the white, going to plant the black onto red, run the white through a few inches. It's fine. So just a couple of extra mistakes creeping in from Jordan. He needs to keep his momentum going. Jordan pots the black. So the balls are reset. This won't happen in the final event, because in that final event it's black comes back up and goes on the spot. Which personally I think is a better rule. Referee quickly resets things, and Jordan nails them again, and he finds a ball. What's he left? It's a bit of a pickle, isn't it? Really is. This cluster down towards the bottom pocket, I think. I don't know. I want to say he's going to go yellows here, but I don't know. This is a hard one to call. He could go either way. It really comes down to, there is only really one bad red, and that's the obvious one in the cluster. And it just depends on how he feels he can develop that cluster. And he obviously feels that the yellows have an advantage. Oh wow, he just puts his hand up to apologise. He's meant to clear all of that. But, he has just nudged into the red and he's left it bottom corner. Nothing like he planned to do. So yeah, it really is very much about how he thinks he can develop those two yellows at the bottom of the table. He'll desperately want to go for the clearance here and get on the hill, but he may just take his medicine and just plant one on top of the other and just send it down over the pocket. And that's a question of Ben. no, no such thoughts. No such thoughts. Take the aggressive route. Just misjudged that one slightly. And I think really now he does have to take his medicine. He's just needs to clip this yellow quarter ball and cover that left hand bag. He's just asking now if he's just saying that's not touching ball. I didn't realise he can actually. Oh, there you go. Just off the bottom rail. And containing shot. Does it squeeze off the red? It may squeeze off the red, but I don't think he's got the right angle to then get into these yellows. Wow, what do I know? He had a very nice angle to get into the yellows, and it certainly did squeeze off the yellow. That was a great shot. I thought it was just going to be slightly too thick to be able to get across, but he's given himself a real chance here. He can run around. Has he underhit it? He has underhit it. He had some margin of error there. Just running around off two cushions. It still clips. Doesn't really need. I was going to say, doesn't need to do much with the white. He just needed to miss that red. Come back across the right hand side of the table, and the black's at his mercy. More drama still in this game. These last couple of frames are coming very hard to Jordan, and you just cannot let Ben come back at you. He's too good. Two cushions. Come right up behind it. Give it every chance to find a pocket. And it doesn't. And this is another frame. Just a nice open opportunity for Ben Davies to get his arm going a bit further. Just develop the one tricky ball. And this now is simple. Wow, I say it's simple. I'll tell you what he was doing there. He was trying to cannon the black, and he's missed it by about 3 inches. He was trying to cannon full ball into the black, because then he's guaranteed a shot. And he's missed it by a full 3 inches. Oh, he's missed that one as well by a distance, but he always knew that he was going to be laying the snooker. What's he looking at here? Wow. That is quite some audacious shot, because I'm sure he could have hit that one rail off the top cushion, but he knew coming around the angles, if he could have got a full ball contact, he had half a chance of potting up in the top right, and he felt he had more of a chance potting it that way than he did coming off one rail. The games I can hear being called in the background. So these are the round 2 games on the winner's side, or should I say, it's the first round winner's side. Effectively round 2 of the tournament. I mean, the first round is essentially just a kind of filter, isn't it? Half the field through to winners, half the field through to losers. No. It's not, maybe not quite reacting as he expects it to, because he's done this a few times now. I mean, that one, not just short of pace, but the wrong line as well. Double. Oh. And I'll tell you something. Even though Jordan's got a 9-4 lead, he'll breathe a sigh of relief if he can pot this black. It's not a gimme because he's hampered, and it's a tricky little cutback. You'll know before he does. It's there, and I tell you what, he will breathe a sigh of relief, because it just started to get a little bit sticky for him, and Ben just looked to be hitting his stride. And at 9-5, a real factor in the game, but I think it's fair to say that Ben hasn't really settled at any point during this series. He's not had a good run. Yeah, that's absolutely right, Kevin Dempsey. It's 128 starts, so that's exactly what happens. 64 feet to the winner's side, 64 to the loser's side. And then obviously on the loser's side, after that next losers round 1, 32 players exit, and 32 from the winner's side filter down to join them. And that's why it's such a long road back in the losers side, because the winner's side is always filtering the losers off to the loser's side, if you see what I mean. It's a long route back. On the winner's side, you've got winners round 1 being played tonight at 8:30 and 10:30. So basically all the players, all of the winners played 2 games today. Could be probably one this morning, one this afternoon, and then could be one this afternoon, this evening, and then one late evening. And then they get the rest of the day off, so they can go and have a few drinks and relax, because they're not back on till 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. On the losers' side, they start at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. 9 o'clock and 10:45. Then they're back on at 12:30 and 2:15. So they've played 2 games tomorrow, and then the losers pitch up at 4 o'clock. Sorry, the winners' side pitch up at 4 o'clock. They play the winners round 2. So that's effectively their 3rd match. Then the losers, they play at 6:30. Then they play at 8:15. And then they play again at 10 o'clock. And then the winners turn up again at 10 o'clock in the evening. And that's their 2nd game of the day. So they've got to play at 4 o'clock and 10 o'clock. So 2 games today, 2 games tomorrow. So it's and that game tomorrow at 10 o'clock is winners qualification. So staying on the winner's side, you've only got to win 4 games to get through winners qualification to the quarterfinals. So it just shows, sorry, through to the last 16, should I say. So it just shows the importance, Because, of course, the losers are still playing losers round 5, and then they're back again at 9 o'clock on Sunday morning for losers qualification. So it's a much, much heavier workload. Whilst the winner's side can just, pitch up and play the old game, go back to the hotel room, watch a bit of the Ryder Cup, have a gin and tonic, nice bubble bath, a few candles, a few rose petals in the bath, bit of meditation, come back, have another game. Wow. All right, they don't do any of that stuff in the middle, but they probably go back and eat a bag of Monster Munch, watch a grubby movie on the internet, have a doze, and then come back and play again. But you get the gist of it. Meanwhile, on the table, Ben Davies is just slightly higher than he'd like to be. I don't think the black goes to bottom left corner, otherwise he would have already been down on the shot. So again, as they say, taking his medicine. Going to take a slightly tougher red, and I think he's going to look for this gap between the yellows, screw in and out of that gap, down the bottom of the table, leave himself this black to middle. He worked that route out really well. It was fairly natural, just had to apply a little bit of screw to the shot just to open the angle up. Executed it really well. He plays those kind of shots so well, knows exactly where the cue ball's going. And that's 10 frames to 5. And the little black triangle ominously points towards Jordan Church, and it's going to be his break in frame 16. Radiology, he's got it right. Quick splash of the Old Spice. Used to love a bit of the Old Spice. My dad used to use Brute 33. Didn't like the smell of that. Old Spice was the posh stuff. What was the other one? Blue Stratos. That was the really posh one. If you had a bottle of Blue Stratos, you knew you'd made it in life. And then, of course, along came Koros. Remember Koros? Everyone used to wear that, a little white bottle. Paul's laughing at me here. I'm reminiscing about the old aftershaves. Henry Cooper. Splash it all over, he'd say. Remember Henry Cooper, the boxer? Yeah, he used to advertise Brute 33 on TV. Splash it all over. All right. Is it just me? Am I the only old fart here? Must be someone in the chat box that can remember what I'm talking about. Oh dear. Now then, this game could be quickly over. Steve Walker, the answer is yes, sir. Craig Waddingham versus Tom Cousins. Next on this table, old Baslet, High Karate, there's another one. Digging out the old aftershaves now. Despite the little flick on the yellow, he's He's landed okay. I think he wanted to touch more angle. He wanted to screw out for the one down the side rail next. May still be able to get there, and he has. So, just drop this one in. White ball back out through the gap and run off the bottom cushion for the black in the top corner. And this really has been a great performance from Jordan Church. Ben Davies just not quite at the races, but hats off to Jordan, and commiserations to Ben. He'll step across into the loser's side. A big smile on Jordan's face. He's put a few demons to bed there. Really nice performance by him. So yes, indeed, the next game on the stream table is going to be Craig Waddingham against Tom Cousins. And there's also 3 other super games lined up for the stream. You can find out what's on stream by going to qscore.com. You're looking for tables 16, 11, 3 and 4. And that will tell you all your stream games. We're going to go across to the interview room where Jordan Church is going to be having a chat with myself and Lee Kendall. So I'll speak to you from there in just a few minutes. Well, here we are. We're joined by the winner of that game, Jordan Church. Jordan, we were talking before. You came in, you joined me in comms, and you were talking about you were carrying a few demons from the previous events of playing on the arena. That surely put it to bed.
Yeah, a little bit. I think we both struggled a bit with the table. But I was just saying to Ben there afterwards, we were having a little chat, and I said, I think my finishes, I kind of had a little bit more room to work with, so I could get away with sort of being the wrong side every now and again, and sort of running a bit too far with the white, whereas Ben's finishes seemed to be a little bit more tight in and amongst the balls, and he was losing the white but not getting away with it, so I think that might have been the difference really.
uncharacteristic mistakes from him. You don't often see him. I mean, he not only missed a couple of pots, but he's just run out of position a couple of times there as well. When you think that he's nailed on for it.
Yeah. Like he was just saying there, he's been super busy. Like his dad's been poorly, so like he hasn't really had a lot of chance to play. But he was still queuing nice. I said to him there, he was queuing nice, but he didn't seem to have the rolls or the flicks, and we both struggled with the pace of the table. It played lovely, but it was just catching us out because it was so quick.
I saw a kind of frown come. I think it was the third frame. A frown came across your face. It reacted so much, and then you were just looking at it, thinking, "How did it do that?" But I mean, your face is quite expressive because even I think it was in the second frame. You kind of made a bit of a mistake, and I looked at you sat in your chair, and it was almost as if you were thinking to yourself, "Here we go again, not the main arena cursing again." But then, I mean, the standard in those middle frames, I just made a note. I think you broke dish at 3-1, you did a reverse dish at 4-1, you broke dish at 5-1, Ben broke dish at 5-2. So the standard in those middle frames was phenomenal.
Yeah, I think the first frame or the first two frames was a little bit sort of feeling your way in, and then we had a couple of really big breaks, and it seemed to go well. And then towards the end, I think we both we were sort of falling over a little bit there, and I was quite happy to just get it over and done with.
Yeah. Lee Kendall's just joined us.
Yeah, I was on the phone. Sorry for coming in late, but no, I mean, it's a first round match from Howell, isn't it? To cut for Ben in the first round, so to get through, you must be pleased.
Yeah, I'm over the moon. Yeah, like I said, I've played 2 matches in the arena. I played one against Mick, and I played one against Craig Marsh, and I played absolutely awful in both. And I thought, well, now I've got Ben Davies in round 1, and if they put me on the arena table, I've got absolutely no chance. If I get to 5, I'll be over the moon. And I'm over the moon to get through there. So, but it's still, I've got in a really hard section. I've got Phil Naylor or Michael Smout, and then I think underneath that is Phil Harrison, Lee Clough, Gareth Hibbert, Scott Gillespie.
Phil's just got beat by Gillespie. So
Scott,
his favourite now.
And I think Hibbert's like 1 frame ahead of Clough at the moment. 8-7. So
yeah. No, it's a tough little section you've got in there, but you know you've got to come through it, haven't you?
Yeah, there's no easy sections, is there? I mean, if you get an easy section and you've done well, like you've had a lot of forfeits.
Yeah.
But, there's not too many easy sections, so you're going to have to beat them at some point. So. Yeah, happy to get through. That's the main thing.
So the part you were saying about the Clough, I just joined in on that side. So how did you actually find it? You said it was
it was nice, really responsive. Yeah, really responsive and quick. Like caught us both out a couple of times. But it just runs and runs and runs. But it's lovely once you can kind of get your way into the match. It's nice, but if you're struggling out there, you're going to be all over the place.
Well, I had many a meeting and phone call with Strack, and I rejected 2 or 3 different Cloughs that they got, and the problem was always the speed. And their answer to what they wanted was to keep the ball response. He was just worried about losing that little bit of like zip when the ball comes back, and that's what they pride their Clough with. So it was a battle between getting the ball response and the speed, and I think they've got it perfect.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's like super. I mean, it's thinner than my hair, to be fair. That is a proper thing.
That's what the Clough is called, super fine. But they haven't got the brand name for it.
Jordan's head range.
Call it no for your Clough.
I just want to make mention of a couple of the games. I mean, I know you're a fan of the game. You're a connoisseur of the game. There's some games in this next round that have been thrown up that you just don't see anywhere else. For example, Ben Flack against Rowan McCarthy. What a game that you just won't see that anywhere else. 2 stalwarts from either side of the game.
Yeah, and that's what this series is all about, having clashes. I mean, there's a few players that aren't here this weekend, but still, there's some massive matchups.
Yeah, they're everywhere. Everywhere you look, there's just a monster game. You can come in at any time of day or night, and there's at least one monster game in, and if not more. Like Mick Hill was playing on the back table. I mean, where's he going to play on? In no other tournament in the world is Mick Hill not going to be on a main table. Yeah. But there's so many good matches that you've got to put everybody on there really, because there's just so many good players.
Well, we try to mix and match the matches up this time because there's some matches which are going to come on, like you were saying, Nick, in the second and the third round, so we didn't want to put them on because they're going to be straight back on again. Then the other players are not going to get the opportunity to be on. But
there was a good, we were saying earlier in commentary, there was a match. There was Sean Story versus Drew Hughes. Yeah. The World Rules guys probably won't know Drew too well, and the Black Ball guys won't know Sean too well. But obviously, if you come from that side of the game, you're going to know exactly who they are. And it was a really good game. like both really good players.
Where two worlds collide. As
Yeah,
they say.
exactly. Yeah, and it's something you wouldn't normally get to see, so it's good.
Yeah, I mean that's the buzz for me for putting the series on, to try and get everybody to play together, both rule sets, and leading up to the big money at the end. And you know, well, you might be sat here with 51,000 in your back bin, mate.
Hopefully, I saved myself for that.
So we were talking about the monster matchups, and that kind of chassis us really well into this next game. Two monsters of the game on the arena table. Next up, Craig Waddingham against Tom Cousins. What a game we've got coming up for you now. It's probably going to be live in about 5 or 10 minutes, so keep an eye out for that one. But there's 3 other games on the other stream tables which are also fantastic. So personally, I wouldn't know which one to watch, but we will keep you entertained over on the arena table. We'll see you very shortly.